Pet owners don't always understand why their animals act in certain ways. The minds of our four-legged friends can be nearly impossible to figure out, though one thing's for certain, they act largely on their instincts. Long Island dog owner Mark Freely experienced that firsthand one day recently. It was a sunny afternoon, and Mark was taking his two pups for a stroll around the harbor near his home in Port Jefferson. His dogs love to watch the boats sail in and out of the harbor. Suddenly, Mark's golden retriever, Storm, leaped into the water next to them. Mark assumed Storm was hot and wanted to cool off. As Mark watched Storm swim, he realized his dog had something large in his mouth. He couldn't quite make out what it was, but this was no ordinary refreshing dip. Storm had actually caught something. As his dog returned to the shore, Mark realized what the object was, and he couldn't believe his eyes. Storm was carrying a struggling baby fawn. Mark hadn't even realized that the animal was stranded in the water next to them, but Storm certainly did. He was in awe that his dog took it upon himself to save the fawn's life. Storm pulled the fawn onto the shore and carefully laid it in the sand. The deer was still alive, but Mark could tell she was in shock. He had no idea how long the poor animal had been struggling to stay afloat in the harbor. Storm stayed with the fawn while she was recovering, gently nudging her every few minutes to make sure she was okay. Meanwhile, Mark called Strong Island Rescue, a local animal organization, to help. The fawn, however, was startled by the rescue team's arrival. She was so scared that she actually darted right back into the water. Luckily, she didn't get too far into the harbor this time around. Frankie Floridia, one of the workers at Strong Island Rescue, quickly followed the fawn and gently scooped her up into his arms. Amidst the frantic chase into the harbor, Frankie actually injured his knee. Still, he was all smiles as he carried the startled deer back to shore. Frankie then handed her over to Erica Kutzing, a fellow worker from Strong Island Rescue, so she could dry her off in their van. The poor deer was thrashing about the entire walk to the van, and she was making it very difficult for Erica to maintain a tight grip. Erica eventually placed the fawn on a towel, and thankfully, the animal calmed down. The fawn was taken to a rescue shelter in Port Jefferson where she was treated for a few minor wounds. She was then released back into the wild. Mark would always remember the day Storm saved the fawn's life. He now knows that, when his pets are acting up, it might be for a very important reason. Storm is one amazing dog with some great life-saving instincts. Thanks to him, a life was saved that day. What a hero.